In 2008, the December 12th movement said unequivocally, yes, that President Barack Obama was good for Black people. In the short time that I have, I don't want to reiterate the points that Ron Daniels made. I said to him when he sat down, he stole my paper. Really, because for us, and we come from the same struggles. I met Ron Daniels maybe 35 or 40 years ago. But I said, or we said, that Barack was good for Black people in the main, whether the intellectuals, whether those more knowledgeable than us said so because of the symbolism, because in our travels, in our interaction over the last 25 years, that what was paramount to us at the end of 2008 was that Black people had a symbol of national unity and had a symbol that said, yes, we can. Now, that may be too simple. That may be not as profound, but what it is the absolute idea that it put in the minds of Black people that we saw the election of a Black man. I've been accused of being extremely religious. I thought that was interesting because a symbol for us does not mean the worship of a deity. But what it does mean is that on the ground, when we are on the ground, when we are talking to thousands of Black people in whatever way in which we can, what they say to us is that, yes, he's good for Black people. At the first debate, I said that the mere fact that the thousands of you who were here said unequivocally that he was good for Black people because the issue was support for Dr. Mutulu Shakur, and that there had never, ever been a time, given all of the struggles we were in, given all of the massive, brilliant papers and books that we had written, there was never a time that we came together in the numbers that we did to raise the funds and the demand for Dr. Mutulu Shakur to be liberated from prison. So that the symbol, in fact, was good. It brought us together. And yes, it is, in fact, good as a symbol. And if it can continue to bring us together, it will remain in our time the only symbol since Malcolm that had been able to do that. I did want to get into those things that I think Barack Obama has initiated that is in fact good for us. For instance, the Helping Families Save Their Homes Act. And I hope the councilmen will begin to talk about what that has meant for us in East New York, where 2,000 families were losing their homes. I also wanted to get into the Children's Health Care, or CHIP, and what that means for our children who did not have the kind of finances in present legislation that ensured quality health care. I did want to talk about education. the increased financial assistance for Head Start, for kindergarten, for colleges, for junior high school. I do want to say that there are no perfect people, but what I want to say to us is that unless we are prepared to put our words in the street, to organize our people to make the changes that we in our intellectual treatise demand of Obama, they will not happen. And finally, brothers and sisters and comrades, the national question is a question for us. We must come together, organize Black people. We must continue to discuss. We must continue to debate. Amilcar Cabral said, as I close, without national unity, struggle for national liberation is endless. Thank you.
Our next speaker is one of Harlem's own. She is the president of the Harlem Tenants Council, longtime activist. Please welcome to the podium Sister Nellie Bailey.
Thank you very much. Obama, the man in the mirror. President Barack Obama held a press conference on June 26, the day after the death of Michael Jackson, the biggest entertainer of all times in the world. Obama uttered not a word about Jackson's death. At a separate press conference, Obama's press secretary, Robert Gibbs, blamed the president's non-response on reporters too shy to ask the president about Jackson's untimely death that sent shockwaves throughout the world. Later, when pressed, Gibbs finally admitted there would be no official statement from the president. The president instead had opted to send a private letter of condolences to the Jackson family. On the other hand, world leaders issued immediate official statements, including Britain Prime Minister Gordon Brown, Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez, French First Lady Carla Bruni Sarkozy, the Japanese government, and Nelson Mandela. When the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, died, both former President Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton issued official statements from the White House. If Presley was the king, then surely Michael Jackson is the god, since Thriller broke all record sales in the world, in addition to revitalizing and revolutionizing the music industry. This is yet another indication of Obama's cowardly political strategy to steer clear of anything Black that might be of controversy for white America, particularly white conservative Republicans, whose litanies of sex, lies, and hypocrisy are befitting for any X-rated film. Once again, Obama has insulted Black America. Jackson's lyric for The Man in the Mirror says, quote, "I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his way. And no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change," end of quote. During the first 6 months in office, Obama has continued and expanded the devastating policies of the Bush administration, particularly growing U.S. militarization domestically and internationally. This past April,